Hi, so my name is Patrick McMonagle, and I'm a data specialist here at Infinity Group. So I've been working with Power BI now since about 2018, kind of focusing largely at that point on moving organizations away from sort of static Excel reporting into something that is a bit more centralized, dynamic, and interactive in Power BI. And then since the introduction of Microsoft Fabric, and then as it became generally available at the end of 2023, I've been more focused on that kind of architecture, engineering, and that upstream ETL layer. So I kind of come at this today from two different angles. So one is the developer and the data nerd who is generally excited on the things we can create and the things that other people are doing out there. But also the consultant who has been in those discovery workshops and the same kind of foundational issues and themes that come up as problems across data states in businesses. So many years ago, we were all focused on being data driven. And now we're all looking to be either sort of AI assisted, AI augmented, or AI something. But there's no denying, right, that the pace is real. And actually, whatever your opinion is or where you sit on AI, whether you're a skeptic, whether you're an enthusiast, or you sit somewhere in the middle, the same point still applies. And that is that AI won't fix bad data. It will most likely scale it. And if you don't understand your data, then AI won't either. And so that's why we're saying today and talking about stop forcing AI onto broken data. Because I think we've all become familiar that AI can be that enthusiastic apprentice. It's a great presenter, and the answer it gives you is very polished, but that answer can still be wrong. And if that confident answer is built on unclear, duplicated, and misunderstood data, then you have a problem at the end of it. So within organizations, we see that there's kind of data everywhere, and we can agree that organizations aren't short of data, but what they may be short of is clarity around it. So across an organization, you'll see reports, you'll see spreadsheets, exports, CRM systems, ERP systems, marketing platforms, and even PDFs with things like annual reports that have important data, but are just sitting in different places. And so what we've noticed kind of in discovery exercises is that leaders have an ambition for things like natural language and agents and self-service. And that kind of speaks to what people are looking for in AI strategies. But the problem that companies face is that the platform underneath does not stitch all that data together. And that's one problem. The other problem we often or theme that we see is that a lot of this logic or reporting knowledge is tied up either in sort of legacy systems like an Excel macro-enabled workbook that no one wants to touch, but it just works. And the other is sometimes in a few really capable people who have become heroes in the business, but it's only them who can unpick what has been built. And I don't want to pick on Excel as our enemy. So Excel is arguably still the biggest BI tool in the world, right? But what it shouldn't do is it shouldn't become a sort of shadow source of data or a reporting platform in its own right. So another thing we notice within discovery workshops is that different teams or different departments can have a different definition of data. So as in the slide, we kind of see that something like a metric like revenue or margin will have different meanings. So sales can look at it like a commercial margin. So at the point of sale, what was the margin? Finance might take the view with adjustments. What did we actually invoice for that deal? And then thirdly, an operations team may want to recognize that revenue as, say, a project is delivered. So it's not that any one team is wrong, but it's whoever you ask, you may get a different answer each time. And so the cost to kind of consolidate these reports and rework these reports is the time it takes, it's the rework, and it's the risk. So the aim is to really to make the data work for the business rather than having people constantly working on that data to get the answers they need. So with that goal in mind, we kind of bring in Fabric, and Fabric can help to simplify your data estate. So the opportunity here isn't just another tool to add to your ecosystem, but it's actually about simplifying how it fits together. And that's where Fabric entering the picture gets really interesting. So it's not just Power BI with a new label, but what it actually is a set of workloads across your data estate. So things like data factory to ingest your data in. We've got data engineering, whether that be pro code or low code ways of transforming data. And then storage like warehouse and lakehouse. Data science workloads to build models from that data. And then other things, we've got like real-time intelligence, which can send off and receive signals from things like IoT devices, and then send on more kind of actions across the business. And then, of course, we've got Power BI and the semantic models to kind of curate that business data. So with our semantic model, we've now got Copilot, conversational AI, so we can speak to our agents, or we may have agents actually using that data and acting on that data to do further things downstream. And once we have all those workloads in one place, I'm not going to pretend we can price this perfectly just from a slide. You still need to understand your different workloads across the estate. But the opportunity there is that the operating model can become simpler. So there's fewer moving parts, there's more workloads through the shared Fabric capacity model, and just better visibility of what is consuming what across that. So while it may not automatically be sort of cheaper tomorrow, it's certainly simpler to manage, it's easier to see, and it's easier to optimize. And with Fabric, we don't have to consider that sort of big migration or that big bang project to move everything across on day one. And that often isn't realistic anyway within organizations. So there are simply too many kind of systems, sort of processes and dependencies that are coupled and which can present operational risk to just migrate that on one day. So the idea is more about connecting what you already have, leaving those data sources where they are, but allowing Fabric to see that data. And that slowly reduces duplication over time. And the best thing to do is kind of start where pain is highest and sort of deliver iteratively over that and in an agile fashion. So you don't need to move everything, but you need to kind of stop copying everything. And really, there's different ways to do that in Fabric. There's things like shortcuts, there's mirroring, and there's pipelines that can all get that data into the foundation. But what you're really looking to do is to reduce that unnecessary movement and connect what matters. And then we kind of build that shared and trusted foundation. And on top of that foundation, we've got security, and that can be centrally managed and different access levels and different security models. So it's not a magic wand, but with a good governance model, both people and agents will only consume what they should be allowed to see. And so recently, Microsoft just released this OneLake architectural guidance. And I'm not going to walk through every pattern here, but Microsoft is just showing that there's no one right architecture. But what it is kind of highlighting is that there are different routes depending on your estate. So in some cases, and from discoveries we've done, it might be to offload reporting that is now hammering operational systems. It may just be to consolidate reporting. It may be to look at sort of trusted domain views across your business, or it may be kind of what we're kind of talking about here, which is recognizing that things are moving towards an AI and an agent's direction, and just being ready for when that happens or as that happens. So the principle is consistent with all of these implementations. The idea is to reduce that unnecessary movement, connect what matters, and build from a shared foundation. Okay, so what does this give you now? So the goal here is to work towards, once we've got OneLake and our shared foundation, we start to move towards trusted views of our data. So things like single customer views, single supplier views, as well as product, and then more consistent definitions of things like revenue and margin. But just simply getting that data into the platform once it's connected doesn't necessarily mean that it's automatically understood. And that's where the semantic layer really becomes important. And it's where raw data becomes true business meaning. So definitions and metrics and relationships all give that raw data proper business context. And that helps both people and AI agents understand what terms mean. And on top of that, that semantic layer, we still have that security and that access. So whether it's a report, it's access to a semantic model, or it's an agent, they still can only see the data they should be seeing based on their role and access. So the answer you're getting from that data respects the permissions. So the security model, the semantic model, and the data design all line up. And once we have that kind of a sort of more less exciting piece together, then the developers get really excited. And the data nerd in me, and you can kind of see in the community at the moment, things are getting built at a really, really fast pace. And, you know, once we have that and we have that understanding, we have that trust in our data, the speed to prototyping things like reports, workflows, automations, and agent-assisted ideas is much, much faster. Things that we sort of couldn't build before, we're now building maybe in days. And we can see that, as I said, in the community. So recently at Microsoft Build, there was the announcement of Fabric apps, which are now in preview. And that's another way to consume the data from that semantic model, a really app-like experience, which can look beautiful, but it's important that, again, that the data underneath it is as solid as it is in a semantic model or a Power BI report. And the direction of travel is really exciting right now, but it makes that design more important because we can build the wrong thing much faster. So just a few examples on the slides here. So ways to consume trusted data. So we've still got our Power BI reports. So things like a daily service report from a service desk can tell both our internal teams what is a priority to them, and our external clients can still see what is being worked on and the status of it. And then we bring in things like I mentioned earlier, real-time dashboards, which can receive signals, but then it can actually have actions from there. So it can send basic things like team messages, or it can go further and actually run data pipelines. And then lastly, we've kind of got our data agents. So we can curate data agents. So business users who go and ask questions of that data set, but without knowing how to properly query it and actually get a trusted answer back. But none of those items together, they only work if the data underneath it is correct and right. So the bottleneck is shifting somewhat. It's not just can we build it, it's actually can we trust it. So if the data isn't understood or it's trusted, then everything built on top of it comes unreliable. As good as it may look, it may not have the right answer in it. So the value here is faster access to trusted insight. It's fewer duplicated processes, less manual reconciliation, and therefore people time. And it provides a clearer foundation for what could be coming next. And the next step isn't move everything tomorrow. It's ask, where is our data duplicated? Where is reporting fragile? Where do definitions disagree? Where maybe trust low? And where are people reconciling instead of analyzing? And I think we've kind of been talking about companies being data-driven for years. And the best time to fix that foundation was probably then. The second best time is now. And so if you have any questions, please let us know in the chat, or otherwise contact our sales team. Thanks for watching.